How choppy is this tonight? Might have to might have to fix that. keep losing connection to my camera. It's there I go. Finally. All right, team. StreamYard being a butt. We're live. It is back up. It is operational. I am here. It is working. I'm going to kill music, and we're going to talk about some stuff. Oh, look at that. Video backgrounds are not supported? What? Well, I'm going to have to update the whole freaking set. All right. I apparently it's being all wonky. I don't know what's going on. I might have to flip cameras. Let me just flip over to my other camera. How's that? Better? Worse? Don't like using my built-in camera, but not sure what's going on there. I think it's more StreamYard than anything. But anywho, let's just go. Let's just go. Let's do this. Well, there I am. Sort of, kind of. Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice ambiance tonight. Rolls. Just I use my phone all the time. My phone is always my webcam. You get a way better picture out of it. I mean, look, this is the built-in camera on the MacBook, and if I flip it, watch. It's a better picture. It just for some reason it was lagging out, but I just killed the application and restarted it. So let me do that, and I will kill any filters that I've got on, and yeah, I will just do that. I think that solves it. That fixes it. That makes it better. Pretty mid. Yeah. Okay. All right, Gen Zer. Mid. What's wrong with you? All right, man. Yeah, I apologize for not being there last week. It was a little chaotic. We had a we had a hard set date on the calendar for a final unpacking and kind of a housewarming week, and that Saturday we kind of had like a housewarming, house blessing kind of thing, and we had people over, and my in-laws were coming in that week. And so last week just got really chaotic. And also at the same time, I started some new medication that was just kind of not really playing well with me and in general. So, Wednesday came around, Wednesday happened, and look at that. It's already slowing down again. I don't know what the deal is. I'm gonna switch it back. Anyway, Wednesday rolled around, and it just like it was like 7:30, um, it was like 7:30, and my sister messaged me and she goes, "Are you doing the show?" And I was just like, "Oh my god, I totally forgot about the show. I just forgot. It was like I was just so tired and it had been just an exhausting week. I didn't even post that I wasn't having a show. I didn't get a single message. It's not like I got people watching me or anything. But the funny part about it is I went live today not just because I needed to because it was Wednesday, but on the calendar is the anniversary. I think this is year four or some crap like that, year five of the show. Um, and yeah, so I stayed up all night. I was upset. Yeah, the thanks rolls. I appreciate it. Your love is what keeps me going for sure. And I appreciate anyone who still watches this thing. I really have to get together. I've been talking with a couple of buddies of mine. I got a developer buddy of mine that has been bugging me to come on the show and just kind of change the format a little bit. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but right now, I just want to consistently come on Wednesdays and get some stuff filmed. The office is 90% done, and I'm not in there tonight only because the weather is so amazing out here in Texas. I mean, it is. I think it's like what 65 degrees right now, 68 degrees right now. It's nice and cool, and I came on late because I was watching the Astros game, right? So the ALDS was on. It was the last game, and we just finished. We finished off the Twins tonight, 3-2. So we are on our way against the Texas Rangers to the ALCS. I am excited about that. Um, no, Rolls, it wasn't going to happen. Correa can bite it for sure. Yeah. Hate on us all y'all want. Y'all can hate all y'all want, baby. Defending champs. Go Rangers. Whatever, man. Y'all got whooped up last time we played. No, it was a sweep. It was a 4 game series, and we whooped you 4-0. So, like, yeah, I don't. Obviously, playoffs are a completely different ball game, but yeah, it's going to be a fun series for sure. We let y'all. Okay, all right, for sure. Hey, I have nothing but good memories against the Rangers back in 2011. Now I'm all for them getting a ring. Yeah. Anywho, let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about not about baseball. Let's talk a little bit about geek stuff. And the big story I guess this week, honestly, is this new PS5 Slim. I want to talk a little bit about that. I want to definitely I want to touch base because this is weird, man. This is such a weird device, a weird choice. And it also goes to show the importance of just competition, the importance of not feeling like you're on top because this is such a Sony move. Uh, let me pull up this trailer real quick and just why can't I pull it up? It's just like I pull up everybody else's reaction video except there it is. I gotta pull this up because this is absolutely just funny to me. Uh, that's funny rolls because they're pretty. I don't know where you're at, but they're pretty. You can find them at the stores right now. At least here in Texas. But um, yeah, let's bring that up. That play on this thing here. So here we go. Here's the new PS5 Slim. Is this it? No, wait. This is the old video. I'm sorry. Hold on. I could have sworn that was a new video. Good job, Sony. Nope, that's an old video. Where is it? Here, I'm gonna find it. Sorry about that. That is the old video. 2 hours ago, 10 hours ago. There it goes. Same freaking thumbnail too. Same thumbnail. So let's pull that one up. Yeah, what a they because that's exactly right. They only have space for two because they're so dang big. Um, and yeah, they're just a big old giant behemoths of a thing. So that's the Slim. It is a whole new device, not device, right? So I saw someone made a picture kind of showing the height difference, and it's only about maybe 6 inches shorter. It is slimmer. Um, One of the cool features about the new device is that it is there is the same thing as before, the digital and the normal version. And what's really neat is that if you buy the digital version that has no, can we call one the fat one? Yeah, I mean, for sure, it is definitely the fat one. Let me pull up their press release. Press. Oh, where is it? Man, why do they not make it? It's their Sony blog. No, where is it? Yeah, it's blog.playstation. Okay, new look for the. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to pull this up here. Pull up this tab. Doop 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 doop. Share this tab instead. All right. Let me pull this up here. So here's the new device. Smaller design. You can see here that it's the digital version and the regular version is what they're calling it. They're not even calling it like us technically the slim. Then they didn't use the slim version or they didn't call it anything different. It's just PS5 reimagined device size. And yeah, like visually, I mean, it's a PS5. It looks a little. It's got a couple of different swoop lines. Go Colts. Hey, Joe. um. Uh. So the entire the device itself has now got four panels. The top two panels are polished or a shinier plastic, and the bottom is a flat, kind of a matte finish, which is cool. I don't like when they use shiny plastics on devices. They become dust magnets. The nice part is it is white. I just find it interesting that they decided to change the entire design after they just started releasing these the side panels. I mean, they're releasing this, and they just released the Spider-Man side panels, which are really cool. Why didn't they just release a Spider-Man edition of this version of the hardware? I just Sony's so weird. Anywho, the point is this, and yeah, Chance, you really you kind of nailed it there. So the digital version and the fat version, the disc version, are the same exact. Well, the big one is the exact same price, $499. The digital version, which used to be $100 cheaper, is now 450 or 449, and that is interesting. So it's $50 more than it was before, but one of the big features there is that after you buy it for $80 later, you can buy a disk drive and plug it in, and it turns it into the full edition, which is kind of cool. I'm hoping that other manufacturers do this. This is kind of a way. This is a double-edged sword, guys. I've talked about that on the show before. These manufacturers don't want us to go digital, right? Like that's the final outcome for them is, hey, they want us to go digital. The problem with that is they know that this generation there's still discs out there, so they can't completely kill it. But what they can do is make the slim version and give you the option, but then what's gonna happen here is, and this is my, guess, is that what's gonna happen is they're gonna really make those disk drives harder to find, uh, and then they're gonna blame the low sale of the disk drive on the public, saying that they didn't buy enough and that their digital versions outsold other versions, and that the public demanded a digital future. We asked for it. We didn't buy the disk drive version enough. I just I can see them kind of setting it up for failure on purpose by them making that disk drive $80 plus 450 for the digital version. You now pay $30 more to own the same device. So $530 total at the end to have a complete PS5 that's only $500 normally. But I guess if you don't have, I guess you save $50 and then later on you can spend 80. It's just it is a cool thing. I'm really hoping someone like Microsoft jumps on this as well. I mean, I talked about the rumored next version of the Series X, which is the tube, with the leak, the leaked documents from the court, the FCC documents that got leaked, and that one does not have a disk drive, right? So wouldn't it be neat if they just released a USB 3 drive? I mean, I don't get the DRM of it all. Like, if you plug the drive into the device would then detect the drive and then allow you to play the discs. What does it matter that people are ripping these discs nowadays for like piracy purposes? The games are so incomplete on the discs that when you plug them in, you have to download huge patches almost every time. So just let us have just let us plug in any Blu-ray drive and let us use it. Like, I don't Microsoft, do that. Like, you're already being proprietary with the storage. You're not letting us use regular NVMe. You have to use the stupid like expansion cards, which are just NVMe tech, or they're just compact flash CF Express cards. Uh, I don't understand. It makes no sense to me. So why don't you, like, if you want to go up against Sony for this, release one without a disk drive and then have the disk drive only $50 cheaper and allow us to use any drive. Like, what does it matter at this point? Why does it have to be a proprietary drive? It's just a Blu-ray drive. Let us plug in any Blu-ray drive. N- no, I don't think the one S, the one before the series, had a drive. The white Xbox One S and the One X both had drives. Uh, they both actually, as a matter of fact, buying that white S was kind of a cheap way to get a cheaper uh, ultra, what is an ultra Blu-ray drive, an ultra HD drive. It was kind of popular for that because you could spend less than buying the One X and you could still play high definition Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray. So yeah, both of those had disk drives. The one that didn't have a disk drive was the Series S, and the Series S just got an update with a 1 terabyte drive, and it's black, but it has no drive still. So I mean, this is one of those things where they've already got a digital version and a disc version. It's just Sony. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, when Sony has no real competition, the public, the media, and the public outcry of, like, the console war aspect of it, like the yucky social media fanboy nonsense that causes companies to like get slammed on reviews and whatever else, which causes the competition to not really be a competition anymore. Sony really doesn't have to try. They can really release anything they want, and the fans will buy it and will accept it and accept the price point. And that's sad. Uh, was there a digital one? Let me double check. One, what is it? Xbox One S, no disk drive? Yeah, I guess you're right. There was an all digital version. That was a weird one. I don't remember that one at all. That must have been like right at, yeah, discontinued. That might have been right at the tail end of the Xbox One. Yeah, 2019, you said? That's pretty tail end. I don't remember that at all. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. I don't remember it at all. Like, it was such a blip I mean, it was released in 2019. At the end of the life, we already knew the Series S and X were coming out, so I don't know what the benefit of that one was. That's so weird. They didn't have a different chip. It wasn't any. That's weird. Good memory on that one. I really don't remember that one at all. So yeah, I guess we did have an all digital version of last gen, but it didn't sell very well. I mean, it only was out for like a year before it was discontinued. So yeah, we've got new PS5s on the shelf. Sony pretty much said that this is the new redesign. The old versions will be on the shelf as soon as inventory runs out of that. The only one you can buy is this one, uh, which is cool, I guess, for cooling purposes and whatever the reviews will say. I'm sure they've redone the cooling and it's smaller and lighter and cheaper to manufacture, but it doesn't matter to us because we're still paying $4.99 for it, and the digital version is $4.50 as opposed to $3.99. So there you have it. Sony into the holiday with the exact same uh, thing, and yeah, it's just sad. I don't know what to say. Hey, thanks, Spoopy. Oh man, I don't. It's troubling to me again. So Sony, I'm a Sony fan. I don't hate them. I'm gonna always um, advocate uh, for the loser a bit, just because I do see some pretty good things happening on the Microsoft side. I have I haven't found any good reason to pay extra for the digital Sony, what is it, Plus Premium or whatever. I don't. Uh, yeah, right. So that's exactly it. Like some people get it, but they're like, I'm gonna still buy their stuff. It's weird, and so am I because, but I buy it all, and I buy even the competition, which is losing. But I'm finding while Microsoft is on the losing side of things, they are technically a better consumer value for you at the moment. And I keep saying this, and it's just I just don't know. I don't know why people don't understand that. I mean, I guess they're like it has no games, but neither does the PS5, man. Like I don't understand. I don't understand all these like games that people say that this console has. And has there been like an amazing game that I missed out on the PS5 that I'm not playing? Yeah, man. It's like I mean, you. I remember you at the beginning of this generation, kind of like you giving Microsoft grief, and that's fine. I mean, you should. Everyone should have. They came in kind of a weird aspect from last gen with the Xbox One. The Series X was kind of a weird launch, but I think it came in strong and didn't really have anything negative against it. It's just more of the, I think Microsoft playing the whole we are more of a publisher as opposed to a hey, let's put exclusives on our console has really hurt them, and that makes it kind of sad because um, they've made it so that they compete against themselves with the PC. They compete against themselves uh, with other manufacturers. Like, so you've got, Windows and PC and Nvidia and ATI and just PC gaming in general. So they release a game and it comes out on PC day one, and the lifespan of a console, right? So a console might be $500 3 years ago, but 3 years later, you can buy a video card that technically is better than an Xbox Series X for 250, 300. I think right now, I think you could pick up a Nvidia 3060. They're on sale right now for Prime Day at $250. And so at 250 plus maybe another $200, you can build a PC that's infinitely faster than a Series X and play games at 1440 to 4K easily. Any other release is just fine. I just the price point has to go down as time progresses, and that's not happening because console games are console games, right? It's I don't know. I haven't seen anything in my opinion. Yeah, yeah. Until Starfield was amazing, and Spider-Man 2 is going to be amazing, but also Spider-Man 2 is going to be one of those games that I'm going to buy, which I have it pre-ordered. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to pop it in. I'm going to put in the 40, 50 hours into that game, beat it, and be done. and that's it. Like that's it. That I'm done with the game, and that's it. There's nothing else to do on it, and that's good, I guess. But I don't know. It's another third person story driven adventure action game with God of War slash Arkham Asylum slash mechanics fighting. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that Sony doesn't have, RPGs or anything and doesn't have shooters and doesn't have all the other type of genre, but it just feels like every major game that they release seems to be that same formula, and I don't get it. I can't seem to find any sale figures on disc versus digital. Yeah, and you're not going to. They're not going to release anything yet. That'll probably be something that they will push. But those numbers won't be released until probably the next console generation, and they'll hold those against you. They'll like hold it against you or not. Like if the numbers favor the digital side, then they'll tout that as going that the digital was something that the market really wanted, so the disc version won't be there. And then they'll also say that like games will be too big and media is too expensive and we'll be able to deliver faster and all these like pros. The same marketing mumbo jumbo that they gave you with the whole this can't be done except with our awesome SSD technology. And then every Sony fan ran with it like that was some sort of weird truth, even though NVMe drives and that type of speed had been out on every other type of electronic for years. Somehow or another, the marketing Sony allowed to get pushed out set this like weird precedence that like, oh, only available or this can only be done with the power of the PS5. And it was like, wait a minute, Mark Cerny, didn't this game come out on PC? Didn't like Ratchet and Clank and that whole like game come out on PC? And all of that tech is like you can play the game you can play that game in better resolution than on PC. I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, rolls and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with digital. I mean, PC gamers in general have been doing digital games for years. There's nothing wrong with um I just the situation yeah, so that's the thing. I buy discs too. I have a huge library of digital, but when I want to buy a game that I really want, like uh, indie titles or games in general that I really enjoy, I buy it. I buy the physical copy of it, whether it be on Switch on a cart or CD on PS5, PS4, Xbox. And also, honestly, like digital sales are great, but they're never as good as physical sales. Like, I mean, Black Friday, being able to like, you've got retailers competing and being able to set these prices at a loss, and they can't do that with digital. A new game will sit at 59.99 for 4 or 5 months. And right now, digital sales are competing with physical sales in numbers. So they do have more. But the moment you remove the physical aspect, do you think we're going to still get, 70% sales on games? Do you think we're going to get a, a 60% off on a game that came out a month and a half ago? No, that game is going to sit at full retail price because it's being controlled. The only way you could buy it is being controlled through the marketplace of the console, and especially if it's a first party game, right? So, a good example here, God of War Ragnarok. Let's say there was no physical version of that and it was only digital. You wouldn't see a sale on that. Like it would never be a sale, and you're not going to see it as a free giveaway on Plus or whatever until like a year later. And as soon as you remove all physical aspects of the game, like no one can go in and buy it anywhere else except from the manufacturer itself. Then at that point, you've removed choice from the consumer, and the price can be set at whatever Sony wants. The days of $70 game, it'll be 69.99 for a digital copy of the game, without a doubt, and that's scary. Um, but there's nothing wrong with digital, right? Like I always find digital as instant gratification, but you and I both know we don't own anything. Like we know, like we own the library. The library is there, but games can be delisted, which we've seen it happen before. Games can go away. They can be patched out. They can be censored. They can go in and change music and change all sorts of things on the game. And that's it. Like the version of the game that first came out won't be there. Could you imagine the days of Grand Theft Auto 3 and San Andreas, the whole hot coffee scenario. Those discs exist still out there. You can play the game the way it was, and then later on they released like a patched version with all of that. But if this was if this was a digital only generation, that game would have been out there. That would have happened. The version that you had on your hard drive would have been patched by Steam or by the console maker or whoever, and then those games would have been gone. Like that version of the game would have been gone unless someone had a copy of it. I mean, look at the PT demo, right? If you're not familiar with that, there was a demo years ago on the PS4 that was released. That was going to be the next Guillermo del Toro uh, led and Kojima uh, produced and directed and all of this. It was going to be like a big deal, and it was supposed to be the new Silent Hill game, right? So this PT demo came out, and it was a very, very awesome demo. It was great. And then what happened is Kojima and Konami and all of them fell through, and they had kind of like a falling out, and they canceled the game, and the demo was delisted. So what happened is this demo that existed on people's hard drives only was there if you had digitally purchased. It allowed you to still download it for a while. But after that, if you lost your console or you got a new console or whatever, they made it so that you could made it harder and harder for you to do it. So people were reselling consoles with the game still on the hard drive. But then they ran into the whole problem where the eventually they made it so that things would expire. Digital purchases on your hard drive would expire and would have to get relicensed. And that game was one that wasn't being allowed to be relicensed. So again, you never really own anything. Tim, my buddy Tim here in chat, sometimes we talk about movies, and I mean, could you imagine, Tim? Like, you've got that the those directors that are too handsy, the ones that like to change things and mess things up constantly, the George Lucas kind of thing, and you've got things like you've got James Cameron, for example. His version and his version and his cut of Terminator 2 for 4K was just like bad, right? Like he redid the lighting. He his, that's right. This new motto: you own nothing and be happy. That's right. We don't own music anymore with Spotify and iTunes and everything else, and Apple Music and whatever else digital. We don't own any of it, and that's the key thing here. But that what would happen is let's say they released a new version of a movie or whatever, it then overrides the version that you have. Cameron is a hack. But he does it all the time, right? Like he goes back in and tweaks stuff and changes light. He changes lighting. He changes color. He changes color space. He overly sharpens things. He goes back in and touches it over and over again. And then the version that everyone's waiting for, this high definition version, is actually really crappy. It's not as good as the version that you had on like VHS. If you just run the VHS version through some up conversion, you get a better version. You get like the darker tone of the movie changes. And so if we only had the digital version, what would happen is like you would go in and it would be in your library, but the version you would download would always be the new version. And that happens quite often, actually. A good example is I own a digital copy of Ghostbusters. Just an example. I own a digital DVD copy of Ghostbusters that I got many years ago from Sony, and I've got the digital code, and it's owned in my iTunes library and whatever else. But that digital copy has been upgraded multiple times since then, and so now the version that gets downloaded is like the 4K version, which is like the 4K remaster cut, and that's fine, but like there are some changes to the movie, and sure enough, there are people talk about it all the time. There are whole forums and stuff dedicated to that. I actually do Apple Music Match where you can throw your own copies up and it keeps it up there. But yeah, right. So that's another one. Yeah, he does it all the time. Yes, man. I would love to hear that. I would love to hear that for sure. That's a really a funny story about James Cameron, huh? That's why I still buy vinyl. Uh, yeah, I mean, honestly, Chance, that's a good conversation. We've had this conversation before, where that the it we come full circle, right? So Gen Z, the new generation is actually kind of the one generation that's buying vinyl. They're going out and buying CDs and cassette tapes and all of these like new published like artists that are pushing, special editions of these like older tech. And they're doing it because they want to own the music. It's funny, they're buying music again because they like the idea of owning music. They don't own anything. Like think about it, like we grew up and we can go through boxes of cassette tapes and movies and games that we owned in our childhood. But the newer generation is starting to get to the point where they don't really own anything, right? Uh, Dan, you would think so, right? But like, and so that's this is kind of a hard one. I don't know if you follow Techmoan on on YouTube. Great guy, older gentleman from the UK. He likes to talk about a lot of older tech and a lot of older audio. He's a big audiophile and all that. I mean, cassette tape in general, while not the best, there were, depending on the quality of the tape and the quality of the player, you pop in a good I have a couple of old soundtracks, some old 80s soundtracks, and I pop them into a tape player. I've got an old high end, like the highest end before you got to like I found it at a resale shop tape player, and you pop it in and it supports all of the higher end Dolby noise canceling and noise reduction and lower flutter and all that wonderful stuff. And you play it and you turn it up and you don't hear any of that like tape warble, which is common with cheaper tape decks. And that's what flutter is. And so, I mean, cassette tape, when done properly, sounds really good. Actually, it's magnetic media, and there's no reason why it shouldn't sound good. Obviously, depending on the head and that it is physically touching something, so there will be friction and noise, and that's what's flutter and all that kind of stuff. My point is like um, rolls. I do that quite often. It's one of my favorite things to do. I always go into I always hop into Goodwill and all that kind of stuff, and I'm always looking for old vintage audio and video uh, devices because those particular devices are A, not manufactured anymore, and B, that's kind of a cool way to still purchase things, right? So being able to hop into like a Goodwill and go through the CD section, and all of a sudden you find all these CDs, pick them up for like $1 a piece, and like yeah, that's how you buy music now. Like because where are you gonna buy it? Like Best Buy and all that doesn't have CD sections anymore. You have to order through online through like Amazon for actual CD releases of music. So yeah, if you want it to be digitized, I can do that for you. I mean, yeah, digitizing tapes and CDs and all that, it's cool to have your own digital copy, which is DRM free, and that's a cool way to hold things down. But the versions that you're getting from studios and from these digital storefronts are they're subject to change at any moment in time. Uh, uh, no, Tim, actually, you're wrong there. There are companies producing tapes, but go if you dig deep on all of those cassette tape players, they all use the same cheap Chinese, really really low end cassette head. All of those new like Kickstarters that you've seen online about like record players and tape players and their like boom boxes and all this kind of stuff. I follow a lot of audio individuals that have purchased them, and as soon as they get them, they rip them apart, and sure enough, it's the same cheap, same manufactured tape head because no one else is manufacturing cassette tape heads to read magnetic cassette tapes. So they all use the same cheap part. And that's a problem because you're buying a new tape player, but it's not new. It's the same cheap part inside of a shell that other manufacturers have. Uh, my VCR crapped out a while ago. I need to take it apart. Probably about yeah. And honestly, that's what's cool. A lot of the like VHS players and tape decks that you pick up, even if you go pick up a tape deck, folks, from like Goodwill or anything like that, a good brand, a Nakamichi, a Pioneer, a Sony, a good high end one. Um, they're probably going to be bad in one aspect. They all have belts inside that need to be switched out. So the rubber breaks down and makes it so that your tapes either doesn't play, doesn't rewind properly, doesn't switch sides, that sort of stuff. And so this is where the hobby of all retro, right? Like if you're a retro anything from retro gaming to old cars to anything retro, what ends up happening is you now have to go through the process of learning how to work on these devices, right? That's the only way to kind of be an enthusiast. You have to also be the mechanic for these devices. And sure enough, things like VHS players and uh, 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 tape that players, digital tape. There's digital tape that's still out there, and you can find those on. I've seen a few of them at Goodwill, and those are awesome if you can find them. Uh, all of those have like broken down because, or they're probably at Goodwill because the person who owned it was like, it's broken, I'll donate it. And sure enough, people, I mean, that's how I get a lot of this stuff. What I'll do is I'll tear it apart and I'll go in and there's whole forum posts, people repairing these things. So that's kind of the best way to do it is all of these devices. Go find yourself an old device if you want to kind of still watch some of this stuff. I mean, like I said, there's a whole resurgence on this right now. Trying to find laserdisc players and laserdiscs in general are super hard. It's now become kind of a wanted form of media. And before you could find them in like corners at Goodwill or resale shops or flea markets or pawn shops or whatever. No one cared about Laserdisc, but then they started realizing that, hey, wait a minute, the Laserdisc version of all of these specific movies is the best version that we got. Like it's the version that we had at theater, and then it was digitally remastered for Laserdisc, and then everything after that has been touched, changed, remastered poorly, or they've changed audio, or they've done all sorts of stuff. So, like a perfect example is the Laserdisc versions of Star Wars. Those are great copies. There's Laserdisc versions of like Rambo that are really good that are hard to find. Back to the Future versions on Laserdisc are actually very, very sought after. Movies like that where the studio has gone in and remastered them, and when they remastered them, the remastered copy isn't always better. Dan, that's a good one because T2, the Laserdisc version, is pretty close to the theatrical. It's. I know it seems kind of like weird and nitpicky, and just strange to be that like old man that cares about the like. I remember when everyone was so mad about the special editions about Star Wars, and they're like, I don't want the special edition. My dog, I don't want special editions, and Lucas messed it up, and they're right. Lucas did change a lot of things and Lucas, uh, I, if they had just given us the original version at the same time, it would have been a better deal. But there's more movies that this has happened to. So more and more we're losing. I remember sometimes I don't know about you, but I don't know how many times you've seen a movie maybe at the theater or you've seen it on tape years ago and you remember a scene in a movie and then all of a sudden that scene is gone and you're like, what happened to that scene? Like I remember this specific scene in a movie and now it's gone. I'm trying to think of one or two. I know there's a few movies where I've seen like there's a clip or a part in the movie that I was completely cut out and it's no longer there. And the only way it was either on the theatrical or maybe like the TV version. Tim, do you remember a movie like that? It's the Mandela effect. You might be right too, for sure. Yeah, I would say yeah. So Adventures in Babysitting has been edited. I do remember. I saw. Yeah, there we go. That's one. I think I remember something about that as well. Well, they did. Steven Spielberg went back and changed all the guns and ET to walkie talkies, and then he went back and like apologized for that. If I remember correctly. So, yeah, the, the Disney version has some words edited down. Yep, yep, yep. That's another one for sure. Like it happens all the time. I decided to film outside, and my dog decided to bark. But anywho, yeah, yeah. Disney Plus is notorious for that, right? Like they've been doing it for a lot of things. They've been doing it for animated movies. They've been doing it for TV series. They've been doing it for cartoons, cartoons that were out on Disney Channel, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah. So Spielberg at least was one that realized it. He was definitely one of those individuals that was like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't be editing this. And he actually like publicly came back out and said, it was a mistake, and that's cool. Um, I don't remember the priest direction, but like, yeah. I mean, I know the box art many years ago, right? Like the one artist that made the box art all phallic. But yeah, Coppola and Michael Mann are two. Like, oh, are they? I don't. Yeah. See, and again, I know there's a lot of directors that like to go back and touch things. I really wish directors wouldn't do that. Um, it's weird to do that. It's weird to go back and like, because as artists we grow, right? Like when we make things, we get better and better, and so it's nice to go back and look at the things that you made, and it's already praised, right? Like it's not like Coppola's movies aren't already loved, so why go back and change them? But when they do that, they do it to the, like this new. You're a different person 30 years down the road. So those coyotes set off to murder your neighbors instead of you, Your Honor. Those yeah, man, better not to. Yeah, I don't know. There are 4 different edits of Apocalypse Now. 3 edits of Godfather 3, 2 edits of Outsider. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. There's all sorts of different versions. I mean, a good example is like Blade Runner, right? Blade Runner was one of those movies that's got so many different cuts, the final cut and all this. But to be fair, I kind of like the final cut because they add more things back in. But yeah, 3 edits of Master, 3 edits of Heat. Man, yeah. And yet we only have 1 edit of the room. Do we? Do we only have 1 edit of the room? I don't. I'm sure we've got more. Oh man, but yeah, that's I mean that's the big news. Honestly, it's kind of this whole show is really dedicated to the whole digital aspect, right? Um I can't think of anything else that happened this week or the last week or whatever else. I have not watched Ahsoka, but now that it's all out and done, I'm going to sit down and watch it. I'm excited to kind of sit down and watch it. I was actually powering through a little bit of Rebels. I was rewatching that last uh, the last season of Rebels, and I couldn't remember a lot of the things that had happened, so that's why I waited on Ahsoka again. That's what I heard. I'm trying not. I didn't try to spoil anything for myself. I wanted to really go in, and everyone was so hyped for it, and everyone was saying it was so good, so good, so good. And then apparently the finale did left a lot of people kind of like, "What? That's it? What's going on?" I don't know. Ah, who's the director of that? Hmm. Yeah. So what's going on, everyone? I wish they would just have teased whatever is coming next and just kind of stop. Yeah. No name director. Okay. Oh, let's see. Let me see if I can find anything else that I might have missed or trailers or anything like that. I feel like I'm missing something here. I know that if you hop into your local GameStop, you can go play a demo of Super Mario Wonder. Uh, so that's a cool thing. If you're nearby or you're out shopping or whatever, hop into a GameStop and play that. I haven't done that yet. I haven't actually really gotten a chance to. I do know that Prime Day is going on right now, and there's a lot of good 4K uh, Blu-rays on sale right now. So there's that. They have it at Walmart and Target as well, supposedly. Do they? Okay, good shout out there. I didn't know that they had it at any of the other ones. I know that I thought it was a GameStop exclusive, but yeah, it might have just been one of the updates at for the kiosks. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, Disney's gonna Disney. I haven't started Loki either. I know that Loki started last week, so that's kind of cool. I've heard good things. Christmas, yeah, there's always a Christmas horror movie, right? Like, that's always kind of a thing. We we like Christmas and horror for sure. That's a thing. What else? I'm trying to think of anything else I might have missed. I can't think of anything. Right now, we're kind of in that like pre-holiday thing. Everything that's been announced has been announced. We CEO of Unity left, so that's cool. Oh, here's one. Let me bring this up because this is going to be one. This is a good story here. Oh man. So here we go. Yeah, this is a big one for me. I love Lego. My kids love Lego. I love Animal Crossing. This is so freaking dangerous. I don't even. Yeah, let me. I will be buying all of these sets. Oh man. Uh, yeah, you, yeah, absolutely. Oh man, these sets are so awesome. Let's take a look at them. It says Nook's Cranny and Rosie's House, which round out to a high end. Oh my God, 74.99, 535 piece. That is a pretty high end price for them. For it, look at this thing. Look at that beautiful set. Oh man, I am so in trouble. Even my wife was like, "How much are they?" So this is definitely something that we're going to be. Uh, Isabella's house is only 40 bucks, so that's pretty cool. Um, oh man, Cappy. We're gonna get a whole set for that. Yeah, man, Nintendo plus Lego is definitely yeah. Julian's birthday party, that's a cool one. Yeah, yeah, these are only 5 sets, and I'm the cheapest one. Yeah, Julian's birthday party is the cheapest one, but only because it doesn't come with a big set. It's like a lot of little pieces. So yeah, 14.99. It's a pretty cheap set for sure. This one's 20 bucks. So it looks like Nook's Cranny is gonna be the big expensive one. So it looks like the $75 set for Nook's Cranny and Rosie's house, which is this one, is the big one. So that's the big high dollar one, 75. These won't be launching until I think 2024 is what they said, if I remember correctly. So yeah, March 2024. So it won't be hitting my wallet soon. Where yeah, this is one of those things, right? Everyone's gonna want their favorite villager or their favorite like character. And this is where Nintendo's going to be like, yes, we print money. Lego prints money. This is what they're wanting. So I'm excited for all of these. And yeah, that is a thing. And man, I saw it and I was just like, my poor, poor wallet. But the nice part is my wife was like, "Ooh, when did these come out?" So that's at least gives me a reason. Anybody do any Prime Day shopping? I have not done any shopping because I has no money. Oh, dude, that's gonna happen, right? We know we're gonna get a KK Slider stage, like full DJ set or whatever. Walmart Plus. Dan, you got some phone cases. Okay, yeah, got some phone cases. That's a good one. Cool. You're right. You said you had gotten a pair of headphones, and that's pretty neat. Um, I want some 4Ks, but I have no insurance. My doctor's last Monday wiped me out, so no Prime shopping for me. What is health when you can have Blu-rays? So no, please take care of yourself for sure. What else here? Just real quick, I'll because again, old man yells at clouds being delayed. Something this show has always been very late to the party on lots of things. Um, so an interesting thing is, uh, I had never watched Equalizer with Denzel Washington. I had really been It's been one of those movies that I missed out at the theater, and then I was like, "Well, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it." And I never watched it. And sure enough, we're now at 3 movies deep, right? So I never watched it. I never sat down and watched Equalizer. Hell, we got a TV show with Queen Latifah based off of it, right? Um, Dan, right? They look fantastic, and I had been really jonesing for a like action John Wick esque style movie. I picked up John Wick 4 on sale recently, physical copy, and I just I wanted another movie like it. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pop in. So with Prime sale, with Prime deals, they also have digital movies on sale. So I think I paid $6.99 for the digital. Uh, uh, $6.99 for the digital copy, so 4K digital copy, just because it was there and I wanted to watch it last night. And man, that's a good movie. I'm probably gonna go in tonight and watch the second one. So that's something. Uh, yeah, uh, Steve, what was interesting is yes, it was Boston. I didn't even know it was Boston until he's walking around at night and I recognized some of the neighborhoods. Uh, and I was like, wait a minute, I know that neighborhood. I know that corner store he stopped at. Um, and yeah, so I've walked around or stayed at friends' houses in those neighborhoods, and like I read, I was like, "Oh, it's Boston," and sure enough, it was Boston. I didn't know it was Boston until I saw the neighborhoods. I was like, "It's not Boston," and then later on, they say it's Boston. Uh, um, yeesh, yeesh, man, get that taken care of for sure. We Who cares what it costs? Let them bill you. They can't. What are they going to repo body parts? So yeah, what? Let them bill you. Let them send all the medical bills to you. Like, what does it matter at this point? Like, we're never going to pay off all of our debt. Just do it. Just go to the doctor. Anywho, yeah, but you're right, Steve. I never watched it. I sat down and watched it. I'll watch the second one. I'm excited to see the third one. Uh, it was good. It's weird to see Denzel Washington in like a role as an action star. Like I know he's always been kind of like a tough guy, right? Like what is it, Man on Fire, and a couple of other ones of he's done, uh, where he's kind of the tough guy. But I've never seen him as like the kind of guy that would like pull a gun and like do the whole John Wick like clean out a room kind of thing. Maybe in my head, I just can't think of a movie that he was like that before that. But it's kind of neat. Like it's believable. It was believable. The entire movie was like, oh yeah, Denzel Washington can do that. Um, yeah, yeah. If you haven't seen it either, then I'm not alone. I just feel like I felt like I was one of the only ones that had never seen it, and sure enough, there was 3 movies. Um, yeah, I mean, again, Training Day. I know these movies exist, but it's not the same. Like something about Equalizer felt very again more John Wick, right? Like he's more of a hitman slash special ops person that can like wipe out an entire room. All those other movies like Training Day, he's a cop. He's just a cop, and he's a bad cop at that. And then Man on Fire, he's just like a man angry, right? Like, and he just things happen. But like Denzel as like this special ops person that can walk into a room and just like wipe them all out, like calculated with like slow motion time and all that. Just didn't think about it. Right. Like he's like, oh, he can do it. Sure, it's totally believable. Uh, I wanted to. I, I wanted to really give it a shot. I didn't see why it wouldn't have worked. I mean, again, Denzel was already kind of a person that I didn't think could do that, pull that kind of stuff off. So I don't know. I said that one of the most badass I've ever heard of Avengers is between them and God. I'm just yeah. I mean, I think I've seen there's a clip that always gets circulated constantly online with from Equalizer 2, I think, right? Because it wasn't in the first one. It's I think these guys beat up this individual after a party or whatever, and he's like the Uber driver, and he walks in and he's like, just beats them all up, beats up all these like frat dudes. So I thought that was a pretty cool scene. And so like, yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna sit down and watch the second one tonight. Um, but yeah, man, that's pretty much it. For those in the Dallas area, whatever, like I mentioned early on in the show, I am fully moved in. I had a kind of a it was a house blessing, uh, house, what is it called? And I can't even think of the words right now in my head. Housewarming party last weekend. Finally, I was a hard date in my calendar that we needed to get to kind of get the house kind of organized enough to be like livable, and it's done. So I'm in the final mix of like finishing up the room, and then I'm going to film a pretty cool kind of a game room office video and put that up online this week. Take a look out for that one. And yeah, that's we're gonna get the ball rolling here. Today is the anniversary of the show. I think it is. We are at year 5 at this point. So whatever, whatever that means these days. This entire year has been kind of a weird one with Pedro leaving the show. Uh, I'm I'm in negotiation slash talks to have someone come in and help out with the show. So keep an eye out for that. It's just been kind of a rough summer for a lot of people, and I think we're gonna bring someone on to talk once a week for sure. So I appreciate it, Rolls. Thank you. And again, thank you so much, everyone. We're an hour in. Uh, go spend some money on Prime Day, or don't. Capitalism sucks. Like don't give Amazon any money, but at the same time, like some pretty good deals out there. Um, yeah, man. Tim, you're always welcome. Oh man, oh it sucks. I have literally added things to my cart like 5, 6 times and then deleted my cart. Like that's just been kind of my thing. Like, ooh, that looks really good. Oh man, $10 for Dune on 4K. I haven't bought that yet. I'm gonna buy it, and I add it to my cart and then I remove it. I might buy Dune though, just because it's 4K and it's $10. So go pick that up at least. Um, I'm excited for that. So yeah, all right, folks. Thank you so much. Be kind. Hug your friends. It's we are in the middle of turmoil overseas. I don't want to even talk about it, mention the countries or anything like that at the moment because it is really polarizing. I want to get something off my chest real quick, and I'm gonna be as vague as possible, but kind of set it. Um, let's let's be mindful of not classifying an entire country as a hateful um, country. I am of Mexican descent. I am of Arab descent, and it has been interesting in the past few days seeing people that I know uh, call out an entire country as awful, and I think that might not have been the right way to come about it. The things that are happening in one country are awful, should not be happening. The people that are doing it are a terrorist organization. They do not represent or speak for the majority of the people in the other country. And I have seen people really rip into other people saying that that particular country should you shouldn't say like free that country when in reality that's probably the best thing to say because um, freeing that particular country doesn't mean free them from Israel. I'm going to say that country. It means free them from the terrorist organization that is free them from the hate, free them from the awfulness, because what's happening now is retaliation from one country to another, and more innocent people are dying. Um, there is very distinct lines and choices being made that is hurting many, many individuals and many people. And that's all I really want to say on that. It's a very polarizing particular subject, especially here in the U.S., where we back one country over another. It is a very popular opinion to back one country over another when there are individuals from one country or from the other country that is seen as the enemy that are not evil people. They are under, there are terrorist organizations that kind of speak for that country, and that entire country is not liable for everything that happens. So, yeah, just be wary about some of the pictures and the things and the the images and the like memes and the like inspirational things about standing with one over the other, because um, there is some pretty like hurtful things being said about one country, and like I said, the generalization is getting to people. And I know that there is a lot of Jewish Americans hurting right now, and that is okay. That you should feel anger, and you should feel awful, and you should, and the things that are happening to your people to is awful. But condemning and hating on an entire other country is causing some weird xenophobic and very hateful uh, things to happen to Arab and Muslims. So let's be weary about how we share this, because this conflict is not as cut and dry as we want it to be. This isn't something about like, this isn't as easy as to say one is evil and one is good. Um, uh, for there's just lots of things have happened over thousands of years, and this is a conflict that can't be really generalized very easily with a few words. So yeah, that's all I really want to say. I wanted to end the show with that, because it is something that has been weighing on me for the past couple days. I have, like I said, I've seen lots of people that I admire say things that are like, wait a minute, like, and I say this from someone that is part Arab. I am not Palestinian. I am. My family is not from there, but my family is from my my extended family is from Lebanon. And if you know anything about the history of that country and the war that it's been through and the terrorism that has happened there, the city that my uh, family is from is no longer there. It no longer exists. All the buildings, the entire city of Aleppo is gone. You know, they've rebuilt parts of it in its like rubble, but buildings and history and all of that have been wiped. Thousands of years, thousands and thousands of years of history have been destroyed in that city, in that country. And so, yeah, I just speak about the fact that like there are individuals that live in this specific country that is being hated upon right now. They're about to lose everything because the retaliation is going to be so severe. And so I just want to be mindful that yes, awful things have happened in one country and they shouldn't have happened, and condemn every single individual that is doing those bad things. But please, please, please be wary about the innocents that live in the other country. Um, yeah. So, yeah, be kind, spread lots of love, hug your friends, reach out to any of your Jewish American friends, to your Palestinian American friends, people, and reach out and see how they're doing. Uh, and you know, say a kind word. Love you guys. Another episode in the can. Thank you so much.